got impatient about the future. I've heard promises of a better life to come. Where the poor can get some more and the weak will get stronger. Hey, hey. I've heard talk of legislation, but they haven't signed up for my situation.
Okay, this is Gerald, Slavery Bowl Radio. Check this out, man. I want to give y'all a report on what was really going on the ground in terms of the teacher strike. Okay, I got down, we formed a committee in East Oakland, and the purpose of this committee was to bring the information to the working people, the community in East Oakland, as to what was going on with this strike. If you want people to support the strike, first of all, they got to know that it's going to happen. And it also helps if they know the reasons that the teachers were going on strike. So what we did was the following, very simple. When you're organizing masses of people, you don't just go out here and do something for 15 minutes and think you done something or you know, throw a rock or some old crazy shit. What you do is you sit down and you create a plan. Our plan was simple. We wanted to contact the workers who were dropping their children off at school and inform them as to what the actual issues were. This wound up being a very simple matter. I drew up a schedule. We picked the schools. So I live here in Deep East on 73rd. We picked Markham. We picked up the hill Burkhalter. We picked Elmwood. And we picked on Nay, 82nd and Nay, Parker. Okay, those were the schools that we chose. What we did was we showed up in the morning, got to change the schedule, can't be staying up smoking weed and drinking all night. You got to change the schedule and get out there with the people before they drop their kids off. And what we found was very satisfying. What we found was the following, that while people were trying to get to work and basically didn't want to be bothered, as soon as it became clear we were talking about the schools, we found out something that we should have known, and that is that workers love their children. Their children are their future. And they stopped to listen. And when they did, we explained the program. So we explained, primarily, the teachers are certainly trying to get a raise. Why? Because it costs a lot to live in this town. We got teachers that can't afford to get an apartment in Oakland, but they work in Oakland. Think about that a minute. Right now, to get an apartment in Oakland, you got to have about $2,500 to get an apartment from one of these developing type of landlords. That's what gentrification means. Now, what does that mean? The apartment is $2,500. Well, it's first, last, and security. Well, to move in, you need $6,000 just to move into an apartment. They done broke us down like a shotgun. The average worker is just living month to month, hand them out. That's what capitalism has done to us. And unfortunately, we have yet to really make that right. That's a problem that we're going to have to deal with. And that's why, because of the low pay, Oakland teachers are probably the lowest paid in the Bay Area. Because of that low pay, every year we lose 25% of our teachers. 1/4 of the teachers in Oakland quit every year because they can't afford to live here. Even if you are a revolutionary-minded teacher, or even if you are a teacher that hates racism, an anti-racist teacher, you got to eat and you got to have a roof over your head. If you can't afford to take care of that, you got to give it up. And they do, unfortunately. And what that does in turn is destabilize our schools. Because when you start teaching, you're not at your full stride. It takes a while to learn the community, to learn how to work with children. A teacher doesn't get really good at it until about 2 or 3 years up the road.
So we lose our teachers constantly. And then what do we get? We get rookies. Now wait a minute, I ain't putting down new people, don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, when you got a new person, you want somebody to work with somebody got some experience. A mentor, an elderly person, somebody been in the industry for a while. We don't have that here in Oakland. And so our children are not getting the quality education that they deserve. That was one issue. The other issue, they are trying to eliminate public education in America. They caught us sleeping, and they figure like this here. If the silly niggas don't know that it makes sense to have education, then F them. And that's how the 1% feels about you. The sooner you understand that, the sooner we can step on this road for liberation. They don't give a damn about us. They really don't. And they want to eliminate public education. Why so? Why would they want to eliminate something as vital as public education? The 1% is a tiny, tiny, tiny class. They scared to death because they know if our children wake up, if we wake up, if we respect ourselves, we might bring about a change where there will be no more 1%. They know this. And part of the road to human liberation requires that you be able to read. It helps if you can read, then I say, hey, did you ever hear of the Malcolm X, the life of Malcolm X? Well, you can't read about the life of Malcolm X, his autobiography, unless you can read. You got to be able to read. Reading is a prerequisite for human liberation. This ain't the jungle where we just say oogly boogly and everybody grab a spear and throw it at somebody. This liberation struggle is going to require a certain level of understanding and sophistication. That's why education matters. And the workers know it. And that's why when we was out there in the morning giving out literature and talking to these people, we were welcome. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It feels good to be in harmony with your class. It feels good to be fighting for something that's common ground. With people, even people that didn't know how to speak English, I talked to them through their children. Eventually we got people to help us by coming out and interpreting. So that's what we did. We showed up in the morning, we leafleted in the morning. Showed up at the same school at night, leafleted at night. We canvassed the peripheries of the school. What does that mean? We went and knocked on people's doors and told them, look it, the teachers are coming, baby. We fixing to go on strike. Now, once the strike, oh, by the way, just to let you know, as a result of the work that I helped to organize, I was not the only one. There was about 6 of us. But as a result of our work, the parents at Markham, right down the street here on Krause and 73rd, those parents held a strike rally for the teachers by themselves. They called a strike rally. The parents was out there rallying for the strike by 2 days before the strike. And that, to me, that's the most important part of it, because it ain't about somebody think they know every damn thing. What it's about is transferring information to the masses. Give them news that they can use. And they take that information and they act on it. And that's what these people did. They got out there and was rallying, mostly in Spanish, to be honest. But 75% of the school, Markham, is Latino. So that was cool. All right. So basically, we organized, and we also held pro-strike house meetings in the area for those schools. And we also went and got churches to open their doors so that we can have strike schools, so that the parents could take their children somewhere during the strike. Unfortunately, hopefully I'll have enough time to talk about the trade union bureaucracy another time. But you gotta know, we always have people in our own ranks that hold us back. And that is what happened.
the so-called the trade union misleaders wanted to end the strike very quickly, so they pushed what's called a tentative agreement, and that tentative agreement, in my opinion, fell a little bit short. I'm only going to point out one thing: the teachers voted something like 58 to 42%. 42% no. I was campaigning for a no vote. But I'm not in the union. No, but I got sense. So the teachers fought it. They don't have a mandate. They do not have a mandate. The struggle continues. Thank y'all for listening.
Does anybody here know what time it is? I have questions. I need some answers. Wide impatient about the future.
Are we still on the air?
I birth